Northern Paiute language. Lesson 17. Hanote e, hanote e, hanote e. Which place are you of? Whereabouts are you from? Reviewing some of the traditional band place names. Number 1, Kudzabigwete, the place of the Kudzabi, Mono Lake area. Pogawete, or Pogaite, the place of the sunflowers, or Bridgeport area. Number 3, Onabigwete, the place of the salt, or Colville, Topaz, Antelope Valley area. Number 4, Hosida Guete, the place of the wild clover, from Desert Creek through to Sweetwater. Number 5, Tabuzi Wete, the place of the nutgrass, Mason Valley, and even part of Smith Valley. Number 6, Agai Wete, the place of the trout, cutthroat trout. Number 7, Wea Wete, the place of the acorn, usually in reference to Yosemite Valley. Number 8, Pagwiwete, the place of the fish, Hawthorne, southern Walker Lake area. Number 9, Kamuwete, the place of the jackrabbit, between Carson City, down the Carson River, all the way to Silver Springs. 10, Toiwete, the place of the Tules, or the kind of Fallon, Stillwater area. Number 11, Kuyuiwete, the place of the black suckerfish. That's Pyramid Lake, Truckee River area. Number 12, Washiuwete, the place of the Washos, which is kind of South Gardnerville up by Markleyville. A map of Paiute country, but maps really aren't too exact because Paiutes never went by land borders. There's no such thing as California and Nevada and Nimu. There's no California Indians, there's no Nevada Indians, there's just Nimu, because all of this is Nimudip, which we call Paiute homeland. So just in remembering, we're kind of centering around Kudzabi Wete, Mono Lake area. Wea Wete, the place of the acorn, Yosemite Valley, Hetch Hetchy, Stanislaus River. And on these other sides, we got the Waavich, which is the Yokut Indians from down in the foothills. And we got the Wawa from over there in the foothills as well. Wawa is what a lot of people call Miwok Indians now. In the old days, there was no such thing as a Miwok. There was no Yosemite Miwok. They lived in the foothills down here, and Paiutes did not allow them into areas like Hetch Hetchy and Yosemite. So good things to keep in mind, because nowadays they're just claiming a lot of places that aren't traditionally theirs. Same with the Washio, which is the Washoe Indians. They try to claim a great big chunk out of Paiute territory, but Paiutes allowed them to have this area where they're at over here, around Lake Tahoe and by Gardnerville and Markleyville areas, Washio. And going up this way, we got the Poga, which is Bridgeport, Onabi, Colville, Hosida, Sweetwater, Desert Creek, Weva, which is over by Fletcher, Tabuzi, Mason Valley, Smith Valley too, and Agaiwe, which is over there by Schurz, North Walker Lake. Kamuwe is all along that Carson River from Carson City all the way to Stillwater, and then Totoi, Carson Valley. So Hanote, which place are you of? So last lesson, we were talking about the use of gwe, which means the place of. Well, now we're going to look at why we add a t or a d to the end of gwe. which is guete or guede. Okay, so just remembering way or gwe is a positional suffix which indicates place, the place of this or the place of that. But now this t and d, they're also positional suffixes indicating at, is, or of a certain place. Then there is very little sound distinction between the two, and there is also very little meaning difference between the two. Well, our examples, we'll see that here. So the t at the end of gwe or way, place. So it means with the t means is, or the t means at, or the t means the place of whatever it's attached to. And now gwe de, the d means one that is at a certain place, or one that is of a certain place. So there's a at or is a place, or one that is at or of the place. So when we ask questions like hanno means where are you? Where are you? And that could be, oh, I'm outside. Oh, I'm in bed. Oh, I went to Carson. Hanno where, what location are you presently in? Versus hannote adding that to, I'm asking for a more specific place. Which place are you of? Hannote. And so an answer to something like hannoe, you could say posidagwe, which means clover place, clover, clover place. Hannote, which place are you of? Might want to be a little more specific and add the t. Posidagwete is of the place of the clover. Hannoya, yate hanno. Yate Hanno. This is Honey Lake over there by Susanville's. What we call Warawe, Warabaninade, Warawe, or also Warawete, Warawete. Warawete with the t means at or is the place of the wara. So when we say Warawete, means this is the place of the wara. Is. So now we can also say sometimes with the different ending, warawede means one of or one at the place of the wara. So this one is referring to a person, while this one is referring to a place. That's the small difference between the t and the d. However, we will be applying much grace when using and differentiating between the t and the d, because these are very interchangeable and most people don't catch it. And so we're not going to get all stuck on it, but we're just going to remember what these mean, and we're going to know what they mean by the context of the sentence that we're talking about. Okay, so referring to places, not one of a place, but the place. Posida guete means at, is, or of the place of the wild clover. At, is, or of. That's what the t is. Posida is the place of, or posida gue, the place of wild clover. T, at, is, or of the place. We'll get into more examples with that shortly. Agaiwete means at, is, or of the place of the cutthroat trout. That's how we're interpreting this t at the end. Agaiwete, at, is, or of the place of the cutthroat trout. Wiawete, at, is, of the place of the acorn. Wiawe, place of the acorn. Wiawete is the place of the acorn, or at. Hannoya, yate hanno. Wiawete, which means is the place of the acorn. Is the place of the acorn. Wiawete. Yesh, one of a place or a person of a certain place. Posida guede means a person of the wild clover place. One of or one at the clover place. Agaiwede, agaiwede, a person of the place of the cutthroat trout, but it could also be a person at the place of the cutthroat trout. But it's talking about a person, one of. Wiawede, wiawede, a person of the place of the acorn. So someone that is from Yosemite. Okay, so like yate, if I ask someone, hanote, hanote, where are you of? And then you see this picture. You want to say you're of this place. You'd say agaiwede, agaiwede, which means one of the trout place, one who is of the trout place, agaiwede. And sometimes, though, the old ones just listed the word for the place without using way or gwe, and without waite and guaite. Like if you just ask somebody, where do you live? They might simply answer Kudzabi, without saying Kudzabi gwe or Kudzabi guaite. They could just say Kudzabi, and they know what they mean. Where are you from? Instead of saying, oh, we are wede, they might just say, oh, we are, oh, we are. One word answer. Where are you going? Agai. Not agai wait, but just agai. So sometimes things get shortened. But don't get discouraged if you have heard things differently. The old timers shorten stuff up all the time. And sometimes they just had their own ways for saying things, but we know what they mean when they say them. So, hanote'e, hanote'e, we put the question on to you. Which place are you of? Examples. 1, ne onawede, ne onawede, ne onawede. I, ne, am of the salt place, onawe, onawe. Remember, 2 ways of saying onabigwe or onawe, and that's listed in the last lesson. Number 2, ne horait, ne horait. I am of Bridgeport or at Bridgeport. Now, because of the t, that means more of at, and the d means more of. But this is where we give the grace because it means either way depending on the context of the sentence. We're not going to say you did a T instead of a D. No, we just say polite because we know what they mean. Number 3, ne kudzabigwed, ne gudzabigwed. I am one of the place of Kudzabi. Number 4, ne araiwet, ne araiwet. Now that would mean I am at, but it could go either way because we give grace on the t and the d, and we know what the speaker means because of the context that we're using in our real life conversation. If I say hanote, which place are you of? And you say ne araiwet, I would know you're meaning I am of Shures. If I asked Hanno, where are you? And you said Agaiwait, I know you were saying I am at Shures. So a lot of it has to do on the context of the conversation. Number 5 got skipped, so we go directly to number 6. Ne posida guete, ne posida guete means I am at or I am of the clover place. Number 7, ne tabusi wete, ne tabusi wete. Nitabuziwede means I am at or I am of the Yerington area. Number 8, Nipitanagwat. Nipitanagwat means I am at or of the southern place, Bishop, Owens Valley areas. So examples of how we will be using these to introduce ourselves now. So we've learned how to say our name. New Joseph Minania. Ne Joseph Minania means I am called Joseph. But now I want to list where I am of. So I say Pogawede, Pogawede. Ne Joseph Minania, Pogawede. Ne Joseph Minania, Pogawede means I am called Joseph. I am of the Bridgeport area. I am is emphasized in here because this statement is connected. I don't have to say I again. So you could say nu Joseph minani nu pogawete, but it's not necessary because it's already implied. I am called Joseph of the Bridgeport area. So Matna, end of lesson 17.